The rift between organized labor and Anambra state government is beginning to take a new turn, with the Nigeria Labour Congress calling out the state as one of the states owing workers. According to Benson Oppa, head of the Department of Information, Nigeria Labour Congress NLC, who was on the morning show yesterday and insisted that Anambra state is the worst payer of minimum wage.
Anambra state is one of the worst, if not the worst, wage payer. I keep saying this. You know, the national minimum wage is not synonymous with the pay packages or the pay structures adopted by the states. Each state pays according to their capacity, their pay structure. I keep using this example. In Benue State, a chief, that is a level 14 officer, earns more than a level 16 officer in Anambra State. And I hope the governor is watching and listening. I'm waiting for anybody to say what you are saying is a lie. So Anambra does not value its workers. It does not value what they call dignity of labor. So it is one of the states that is observing this law in breach. And that is the reason why we have said the workers in the state should mobilize for action.
So joining us now from Awka, Anambra State Capital, for a right of reply is Comrade Godwin Osisioma, former Anambra State Chairman, Nigeria Labour Congress. Comrade Godwin, the words of the head of Information Department of Labour said Anambra is the worst wage payer, does not value workers, and they're going at loggerheads with Anambra. And there was a back and forth even on Labour Day, May 1st, as regards this. They've said all sorts of things about Governor Soludo. What do you say?
Yes, good morning, viewers. Once again, I want to thank you for the opportunity given me to express the statement of the labor force. Yes, I disagreed with him in the sense that within the period of the leadership of Osisioma as the president of NLC, minimum wages are being sent to states to pay within the capacity of the resources of the state. And within that period, Anambra State is paying within the resources they can be able to pay within that period. Recently, there is a law in the minimum wage of 30,000 naira per worker. That particular minimum wage becomes a law, becomes a constituted law that every government must implement. It was at that point that Anambra State started to implement what others are implementing. One can say that the salary take-home package of a worker in the state may be lower than that of the other states, but I've already clarified why it is so. But presently, that it is the law, every reasonable government, every government must have to pay because it is a law. I remembered when the past administration led by Governor Biano, the issue of minimum wage came before the arrival of the governor, Professor Soludo. And the labor force negotiated with the government. It's not even been negotiated. The matter came up and the government of the day approved that they should sit with the government. The labor should sit with the government to discuss on the issue. And they arrived and have an agreement for the payment of the package. And the government at that moment approved for the payment of the minimum wage and its consequential adjustment. When the agreement was signed, the SAG of the government, Professor Soludo was the SAG and is still the SAG now. The head of service, the former head of service of the state was there, Soludo. Many of us were there. The chairman of NLC and other industrial unions are there. We negotiated and they agreed, and that agreement was signed by the SAG on behalf of the state government. And once the agreement was signed, the governor gave a directive that that should be implemented fully. And everybody was happy. Everybody was happy, and we shared greetings to ourselves that we don't have money. We didn't even waste much of our time in such negotiation because it's a directive. So, and when the present administration came on board, he begins to implement what he met. Because I remembered also, I want to quote, that the SAG, after that agreement with the workers, raised a letter that the state government is fully implementing the minimum wage. And with that letter and with that agreement and the decisions of the government, the press and the print and media carried it that the Anambra state is paying the minimum wage. The governor, the present administration now came, stand on the existing approval given by the previous administration. My governor Soludo was so surprised.
Oh, okay, comrade.
To hear,
comrade,
that he is not paying.
Comrade, so let me just ask some question. The labor representatives yesterday said you are paying about 20,000 in minimum wage. Are you paying the full 30,000 naira? And how many months' salary are you owing the workers in the state? Are you owing the workers?
Anambra State is not paying the workers 1 naira. And the workers are being paid. Even when the governor came, he increased the salary with by 10%.
Okay, comrade.
So the present take home, yeah.
Comrade Osisioma, I find it very odd that you, a former chairman of the NLC in Anambra State, you are the one on television defending government. So I ask you, are you pro-labor or anti-labor? Because the NLC, both at the national and the state level, already told Nigerians that on May 23rd, that's Thursday, that's tomorrow, right? That organized labor in Anambra State should go on strike, protest against anti-labor policies of the Soludo administration. And you are here, former chairman of the same Anambra NLC, defending government. Are you aware of that protest? Are you saying that that protest is misadvised and you are not part of it? That's at the personal level. Now, two issues that NLC is raising, just a moment, two issues that NLC is raising. NLC is saying that there is a problem of unpaid salaries in Anambra. Are you saying that NLC is lying? And then there's something they raise, the Indiolu, I hope I'm pronouncing it well, microfinance affair.
Indiolu microfinance.
Indiolu microfinance affair. Can you also help us shed some light on that? But first, ask the personal question and then address the two additional issues.
Yes, I am not here to defend the government with regards to take home of a worker in the state. But I'm trying to say that this present administration is yet to address the issues raised by the current chairman of NLC, because the government is interested in what is your data, what is the information you are bringing, so that they can go through the documents, go through everything, and compare it with the one that was handed over to him. And today, immediately the governor came back from the meeting. He has already fixed a meeting with the labor force in Anambra State this afternoon. And I believe that if he is being cleared very well that they are not receiving the minimum wage, that the governor, we know, will immediately call for the implementation of the minimum wage. Where there is a differences, because I know that the last time we took what do you call it, the statistics, that a worker is collecting 24,000 naira. Then we are asking, where is the remaining 6,000 naira? Then there was an administration led by somebody. He said it is only 200 million naira that can be put into the Anambra State salary to complete the payment of their minimum wage. So I am not saying that Anambra State is collecting fully, but I am saying that the minimum wage has been approved and been implemented.
But
so
you said
if there is something somewhere.
Would you respect?
There is a fault somewhere.
No, would you respect,
yes,
sir? You said just now, not some minutes ago,
yes,
that you are paying full minimum wage. That's what you said. We can play back this tape for you. Maybe I wasn't
said the
hearing.
government approved for the payment of the full minimum wage.
So are you paying full minimum?
Workers.
Are you paying full minimum wage? I could have sworn
Then
that you said that. Are you paying full minimum wage?
Presently, what is being paid now, that after my inquiries, is that the take home is 24,000 naira instead of 30,000 naira.
But you're not paying full minimum wage. Now you're talking.
Where?
You're not paying full minimum wage. Anambra is not paying full minimum wage. So the man was correct yesterday when I said he said they were paying about 20,000 naira there. But okay, maybe 4,000 naira. So he was correct. So because you said just now that they are paying full minimum wage. Secondly, are they owing members of staff? Because are they owing members of? Because somebody even sent me a message. I don't know how verified. They're saying some level 10 officers even earn 50K a month in Anambra. So they are not paying full minimum wage. So the person was correct. Labour was correct yesterday.
And are you part of the protest on Thursday?
No worker is being...
Are you part of the protest on Thursday? Or you are not part of it? The new chairman
that should be after today's
do his own thing.
That should be after today's... That is after today's meeting with His Excellency, the Governor.
Oh, so you are optimistic that the Governor will resolve it? How about unpaid allowances that Labour is
it's a friendly governor.
How about no, I don't want to know whether the governor is friendly or not. How about unpaid allowances? That's what Labour is talking about. And then the Indiolu microfinance affair. What is the story behind that?
Well, the Indiolu microfinance bank is being investigated because it was discovered that there is a lot of things that happens there by the previous career top government officials in that aspect, and it's being handled and it's been investigated. They always the same thing with the deductions that are being made for the from the workers' salary with regards to their pension fund. Those things are not being paid to the workers' individual account. We find out those things, and it's been forwarded to before the governor, and it's been investigated too. So, but I am optimistic to say that there is no worker, in my own view, that have not been receiving his salaries. Even the water corporation that was owned 17 years before the arrival of Governor Soludo. Soludo has cleared the whole money, cleared the whole thing, and paid off
Comrade.
the water corporation
Comrade.
workers in the state.
Comrade,
Yeah.
this 24,000,
Yes, sir.
is it after removal of taxes and, you know, things like pension? And how up to date is Anambra State as regards payment of pension? How up to date are they?
The 24,000 is basic.
Okay. So
Outside the allowances.
outside the allowances, okay. So payment of pension, how up to date is their pension payment?
Yeah. The governor is up to date to the pension. In regards to, he came on board and met several areas of pension and decided that from the point of time, the period he started, he would paying pension. So throughout his regime, he's not owing any worker pension.
Are you sure about that? That is not owing any pension as we speak? Any month, he has paid his pension up to, what month are we now? We are in May. He has paid his pension up to April. Are you sure about that?
He pays his pension before staff salary.
Well,
From the period he resumed as the governor of Anambra State.
well, comrade, one of the allegations of NLC is that contributory pension deductions is a problem in Anambra State, and they are very clear about that. And the national body has told the state body to go on strike, stage a protest on Thursday. Are you advising the NLC, of which you are a member, about the national and the state level in Anambra, that the governor will decide today and they should call off the proposed protest? Is that your advice to them? That because you trust the governor so much, that the governor will decide everything today? Because that's what I seem to be hearing from you.
Well, as far as we have the, the good relationship between the labor and the management in Anambra State, today's meeting will be a very fruitful one. I believe that. And so many other issues that came before the arrival of Professor Soludo. I want to tell you that the governor is handling it gradually, like the one you mentioned about the pension. I just mentioned it. A situation where the pension of a worker will be deducted from the jack, and the money will not be paid to the appropriate workers' pension scheme. And that is recently discovered by this administration, and they are looking into it. So, and the government cannot tolerate that rubbish. So when I'm speaking on the accurate behavior and attitude of the governor, the present administrator, it looks like I'm only defending the government. No, it's only that the man is a 2 years old in the administration, and he discovered a lot of things in the payroll of Anambra State. He discovered both the depth, like I mentioned, that of the water corporation. So he's moving on. So I believe the workers will have the understanding, and today's meeting will be a fruitful one.
Okay,
that is what I'm trying to say.
I deliberately asked you about pension for a reason. And that's why I say, are you sure the governor has paid up to date? Because as of last year, the governor was owing 11 months in arrears. And the empirical facts on ground to that, what he was owing. So has he cleared that money? And because also as of 2022, empirical facts suggest that the governor was owing about 14 billion in pensions. So has he paid the pension up to date? If you don't know, I think it's best to just say, I don't know. Do you have facts that he has paid pension up to April, like you said?
The best answer to that is that, yes, I don't have the accurate fact about the
very well
of pension, but I am sure that from the period the present administration led by Professor Soludo came up, he has not owed anybody pension, and he started paying from from the period he started his job for Anambra State workers.
Anyway, but
So he's not owing up to that, up to this moment.
Okay, but Labour is complaining about the management of the deductions, contributory pension deductions. That's the phrase in the statement by organized Labour. But I think that you've done very well in defending the state government of Anambra. And we look forward to see what will happen today. You are very optimistic that the matter will be resolved because you have faith in the governor's ability to mollify organized labor and prevent any kind of protest. Final question. What do you think of the request of organized labor for a minimum wage of 615,000 naira? The federal government has offered 48,000. They've revised it to 54,000. Organized labor is saying, no, we want 615,000 naira as minimum wage. The National Minimum Wage Act having expired on April 8, and we need a new one, a new law. Do you think 615,000 is a fair request?
Yes, you see, in the entire country, everybody is suffering. Take home of a worker is just like a slave. What the workers are taking home is slave salary. So the new minimum wage of 600 that was projected by Labour, and the federal government moving from 48,000 to 54,000, it's not yet realistic. Not yet realistic because if you check how things are moving now, is it the NEPA bill? Is it other bills? For you to be able to take care of your stomach, you have to run head before you can be able to eat 3 square meal or even a day square meal. So we are of the view, and we trust the national body of NLC, and we trust the entire workers in the country that this matter is a very important matter. This increase in minimum wage, since the federal government, decided without negotiation, without discussion with the labor, and remove the fuel subsidies, and everybody is running scatter. So there is no much money that can be paid to a worker to compare with the suffering that is too much for them. That is my take.
Well, thank you very much, Comrade Godwin Osisioma, former chairman of the NLC in Anambra State. Thank you for joining us on The Morning Show.